Honor. We're here today in the state of Ohio versus Veronica Park, case number 24-CR-1424. The defendant is present with counsel Christina Bruick, and we're set today for an information hearing. It's the state's understanding that the defendant will waive her right to the grand jury and plead guilty to the one-count information. That one count being identity fraud, a felony of the 5th degree. There's a joint recommendation for community control in this case, and the state would ask for a pre-sentence report and drug and alcohol evaluation. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Park, how old are you?
40.
And how far did you go through school?
I graduated.
Identity fraud is a felony of the 5th degree. It carries a 12-month maximum prison sentence and a $2,500 maximum fine. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand that if a prison term is imposed, you are eligible for judicial release?
Yes, sir.
I could place you on community control for up to 5 years, but if you violate any conditions, I could send you to prison for 12 months. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Bell, if the case went to trial, what would the evidence show?
Thank you, Your Honor. Had this matter proceeded to trial, the state would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that on May 25th, 2023, Veronica Park was the driver of a vehicle that was stopped by a Willoughby Hills police officer in Willoughby Hills, Lake County, Ohio. The defendant then presented herself as Roxana Perry, her sister giving Ms. Perry's name and social security number, and she did not have the consent of Ms. Perry to do that. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Bruick, anything to add to those facts?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Ms. Park, did you hear what Ms. Bell said the facts would show if the case went to trial?
Yes, sir.
Are those facts true?
Yes, sir.
All right, what is your plea to identity fraud, a felony of the 5th degree?
Guilty.
All right, I'll accept the written plea of guilty. Defendant was present when Ms. Bruick advised of all of her rights, being a knowing, intelligent, voluntary waiver of those rights. She understands the nature of the charge, the consequence of her guilty plea, and the maximum penalty. Find it to be knowing, intelligent, and voluntary. I will accept her plea of guilty and find her guilty of identity fraud, a felony 5. I'm going to refer this for a pre-sentence report, drug and alcohol evaluation, victim impact statement. Sentencing is January 23 at 11 a.m. and the bond is continued. Anything else, Ms. Bell?
Nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Bruick?
No, Your Honor, thank you very much.
All right, we're adjourned. All right, Ms.
Defense explains Veronica disappeared in December after testing positive for drugs. She didn't hear from anyone for nearly a year after a warrant was issued. Her lawyer admits that she used illegal drugs and failed to appear in court.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. First and foremost, as the court is well aware, the last time that we were present before the court for this matter was on December 16th of 2024, at which time Ms. Park entered in a change of plea to the one count of identity fraud, the 5th degree felony. At that time, the matter was then set for sentencing on January 23rd. A PSI was ordered, and she did submit to a urinalysis. Counsel was subsequently notified that urinalysis produced a positive result. At that point, a warrant was issued, and I unfortunately have any further communication with Ms. Park. Your Honor, she is not trying to deflect. She's not trying to minimize. She understands that she left and she didn't come back, and it was radio silence. There was nothing further. She can't also hide the fact that she did have illegal drug substances in her system. That's something that, you know, it happened. She had it. She should have hit the nail with the hammer head on and dealt with it at that point instead of not dealing with it. But unfortunately, she didn't, and we're here today after almost close to a year later from the last time that we were present before you on this matter. She's obviously, you know, using substances. There's issues going on there that she needs some assistance with. She from the get-go, in terms of her acceptance of responsibility for the identity fraud for using her sister's information.
The attorney describes how minor moving violations turned into felonies. Her license suspension and identity fraud landed her in even more legal hot water. Veronica's longtime substance abuse is thought to be the primary issue.
She's not going to shy away from that. This whole issue spiraled out of the fact that her driver's license was suspended. She didn't take care of what she needed to do, which was really a minor, minuscule thing that just kind of, the longer it went, the deeper the hole got, the more she fell into it, which led her into this mess with the identity fraud. So as far as that issue goes, Your Honor, she's not going to shy away from the fact that she used her sister's information. She knew it. She shouldn't have done it. She did it. But again, there's a lot more that spiraled out of that being, you know, the fact that she tested positive, the fact that we're here today almost a year later on this issue. She's been sitting in the jail for 173 days. I think that's been a lot of time for her to get clean, to reflect, and then to understand that actions have consequences. She advised me, open and honest, that yes, she acknowledges she did test positive. If the court would be so inclined as to consider allowing her to participate in some type of a treatment plan. I've had some conversations with her about the fact that if the court would be so inclined to do that, that it would likely be in inpatient, something she would be transported to. I don't think that she has any hesitation with regards to that, because again, you know, she understands that in order for her to be able to succeed, in order for her to truly show the fact that she is serious, that she is accepting responsibility, she needs to get herself 100% on track, meaning she needs to get herself clean and sober. So with respect to the request, the court would consider, you know, allowing her the credit for the 173 days that she's been in jail, and that if the court would be so inclined as to in order perhaps like an inpatient treatment facility for her to go to so she can continue to get clean. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, what do you want to say?
Your Honor, I was trying to do the right thing and turn myself in last year for...
Veronica apologizes, saying that she never imagined that this situation would make her a felon. She admits that abusing drugs played a big role in her death. The court challenges her answers in an attempt to hold her responsible.
The trouble I got myself into, if I knew then what I knew now, how much farther this would have dragged on from these petty traffic violations and using my sister's information, I could have just let the car get impounded and taken it from there, because I never imagined that I would be sitting here in felony court, a convicted felon over this. I am remorseful for it. I'm lucky my sister didn't press charges.
What do you mean over this? What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
Never imagined you'd be a convicted felon over this. Over what?
The traffic violations like spiraled into this.
I mean, where does this all stem from? Where does all your trouble stem from? What's the cause of all of your problems?
I mean, my substance abuse probably is a lot of it.
Probably?
Yeah.
So when you were here in December and pled guilty, is that when the first test was, Kim?
The first test, Your Honor, was at the time of her referral on
Right.
December 16th.
Okay. And on December 16th, you were positive for marijuana, cocaine, and opiates.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just as a result of recreational use?
Right. The cocaine and the marijuana. The opiates, that's when my left leg was broken when I was here at that time for PSI. I was prescribed those from Lake West.
How does that stuff mixes pretty good with the cocaine and the marijuana, the prescribed opiates? Yes? No? Maybe?
Does it mix well? Is that
Yeah.
No.
If you were taking opiates, if you were taking prescription opiates, why were you mixing it with cocaine and marijuana?
I think I had already used the cocaine and marijuana when that had happened.
When?
When I broke my leg and was prescribed the pain medication.
So within 3 days of when you were here pleading, you were using cocaine?
I'm not sure because it was a year ago, but I literally had
I'm sure because it would have been within 3 days.
I had broke my leg and had came here like the very next day or 2 days later from Lake West. I had an air cast on, but I couldn't go get a permanent cast on because I didn't have a valid ID
Okay.
or insurance.
On May 19th, you were positive that's when you got caught. Because you didn't show up, right?
Right.
You just took off because you didn't want to come, or what?
No, it wasn't that I didn't want to come. I was in between the places I was living at, and my leg was broke. I was trying to take care of that. I didn't want to come to jail without having a cast put on it, but I couldn't get a cast put on it. It just, like I said, it just spiraled.
So you just
spiraled up.
disappeared for 5 months.
Her drug use history, irregularities, and missed appointments are all addressed by the judge. He highlights the fact that long-term drug use is consistent with her memory loss. Her claims about housing, ID issues, and a broken leg are looked into and disputed.
I didn't even know anybody was looking for me.
Now, how is it, you were told when you were here December 16th, when you were over in probation, you were given an appointment to come back to complete your interview, right?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, well, let's take a look. I'm sure, but let me just say what you said. You were given, when you went over there on the 16th of December, you were given some papers to fill out. And one of the things that you were to fill out was your written version of what occurred with this offense. And you put, "Will explain and write out when I return on December 30. So your appointment to come back was December 30. You knew that because you wrote that. And you specifically did not come back on December. Did you say to the probation officer that, look, can I come back some other time because I got my leg broken thing and I want to get that taken care of? Can I come back at a different time? You didn't.
I should have said that. I'm not sure if I did or not. Okay.
You just took off. Okay. You took off knowing that you had taken drugs and were going to test positive. So that's kind of probably why you didn't come back.
I don't remember not coming back to the
remember.
appointment. I just remember that it was sentencing.
You don't remember a lot of things, okay? That's what prolonged drug use will do, is you start to forget a lot of stuff. So how is it that you came back on May 19th?
How did I come back on May 19th?
Yeah,
To jail?
yeah,
I was arrested for driving under suspension.
okay. Why haven't you worked in the last 4 years?
I stayed at home till my husband went to prison and we lost our house in Menor.
Okay. Well, that doesn't really answer the question.
I haven't been able to get a job with no identification.
Why don't you have identification?
Because when I moved, I didn't have the proper documents or paperwork I needed to get another ID. I couldn't get a job anywhere. I did apply for a few jobs, but I couldn't get a job because my license was expired. The ID itself was expired. And I couldn't get a replacement because I didn't have the proper documents I needed at the license bureau to get that stuff.
So you're never going to get a license?
I sure hope so. I would like to.
Well, you got to put forth a little effort.
It's just at that time, everything was happening, just boom, 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 and I went from my Menor address. I wasn't living back yet at my mom's. I didn't have mail coming there. The correct documents I needed in order to get that. I did try.
Well, you probably didn't. You were probably more concerned with doing drugs than getting your act together, quite frankly. Ms. Bell?
Thank you, Your Honor. I had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report in this case, and I have several concerns. The defendant violated her bond by testing positive those 2 times, as we discussed. She also picked up 4 new cases since this incident. I question her veracity as she sits here in court today. I question whether she actually wants to get clean.
The prosecutor questions her sincerity and the new accusations. Despite doubts, the state nevertheless recommends community control with treatment. Because of her multiple transgressions, the court challenges her commitment to change.
In light of all that, I question whether she is actually amenable to community control sanctions. However, if the court does find that she is amenable, the state recommends community control to include JTP or other form of treatment. Thank you.
Okay, I've reviewed the pre-sentence report and the drug and alcohol evaluation. Consider what you have said, what counsel has said, considered all the provisions in 29, 29, 11, 12, and 13. And put you on community control for 4 years. You're going to serve 218 days in jail with credit for...
The judge sentences her to 4 years of community control with strict conditions. She must complete her correctional treatment, serve 218 days in total, and regularly attend AARNA for each infringement. He threatens a 12-month prison sentence.
173, the last 30 days. You're going to be in the jail treatment program, complete it, and follow all the recommendations. You're to have no drugs or alcohol, and you'll be screened. You're to attend at least 3 AA or NA meetings a week and obtain a sponsor. You are to see only 1 doctor and 1 dentist and 1 pharmacy for any prescription medication. You're to take any medication that is prescribed only as it's prescribed. You're going to sign releases so probation can get your records. You're going to get a mental health evaluation. You follow all the recommendations. You're going to get a valid driver's license, obtain and maintain full employment, and pay the cost and supervision fees. Anything else, Ms. Randallson?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand all the terms?
Yes, sir.
Any question about the terms?
No.
If you violate the terms, the state will file a motion to terminate your community control. If I find you violated, then you will go to prison for 12 months. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the problem here is that I don't think you're all very much invested in any of this. I think that you think that you don't have any problem, that you don't need any treatment, that you don't want any treatment, and my guess is you're going to half-ass it when you go to treatment and when you go to your evaluation, but that's up to you. If you do what you're supposed to do,